AITA for demanding $20,000 from my ex-fiancé after he gave away my old broken laptop during our breakup. Imagine sitting across from the person you thought you'd spend forever with and realizing you never really knew them at all. Not even a little bit. Not even close. This story comes from a throwaway account posted to the AITA subreddit about 8 months ago. The title was simple enough. AITA for demanding $20,000 from my ex-fiancé after he gave away my old broken laptop during our breakup. And at first glance, yeah, you'd think, okay, Karen alert, 20 grand for a dusty old Toshiba from 2012. The thing probably weighs 12 pounds and sounds like a jet engine when you turn it on. But fam, stick with me. Because this isn't about the laptop. It never was. And by the end of this, you're gonna understand why $20,000 wasn't even close to enough. So let's set the scene. Our narrator, let's call her Maya. Not her real name, obviously. Maya met Derek in college. They were that couple. You know the ones. Matching Halloween costumes, finishing each other's sentences. The whole 9 yards. They got engaged in 2021, right when the world was starting to open back up, and everyone was desperate for something good to happen. Derek was charming. Derek was attentive. Derek was the guy who remembered your coffee order and your mom's birthday and sent your dad articles about his favorite sports team. He was perfect. Maybe that should have been the first red flag. Nobody's that perfect. Nobody. They lived together for 3 years in a 2-bedroom apartment in Austin, filled it with plants that Maya killed slowly and Derek pretended to care about. They had a whole life, shared streaming accounts, a joint Costco membership, the works, and then, 6 months before the wedding, it all fell apart. Maya found messages. Not even the spicy kind, honestly, just cold, calculated. Derek had been venting to his brother about how he felt trapped, how he was settling, how Maya's anxiety was exhausting. And look, we've all vented to family before, but this was different. This was systematic. This was a campaign. His brother was encouraging him to wait until after the wedding to leave so they wouldn't lose the deposit. To stick it out for the gifts. To play the long game. Maya confronted him. Derek didn't even fight. He just shrugged. Said he'd been feeling that way for a while. Said the wedding was a lot of pressure. And just like that, 5 years together, gone, poof, like it never mattered at all. Now here's where it gets messy. Because when a relationship dies, there's this awful period where you're still living in the graveyard. You're sleeping in the same bed, eating at the same table, packing boxes while crying into cold Chinese takeout. Maya gave herself 2 weeks. 2 weeks to get her stuff and get out. Derek agreed to stay with his brother during that time. Seemed fair, seemed civil, seemed like the bare minimum a decent human being could do. Maya started in the bedroom. Clothes, shoes, the fancy skincare fridge that was definitely a splurge, but she deserved it. Then the bathroom. Then the kitchen, saving the hardest for last, the office, their office. Well, her office, really. Derek barely used it except to play video games when she was asleep. But there was a desk, 2 monitors, a printer that never worked, and in the corner, under a pile of old tax documents and a sweater she'd been looking for since 2019, was her old laptop. It was a 2012 HP Pavilion. Silver, chunky. The battery had died years ago, so it was basically a desktop that you could theoretically move if you really wanted to, and had access to an outlet every 3 feet. The screen had a crack in the corner from that time. She dropped it in college. The charger was frayed and held together with electrical tape and prayers. It was junk. Obvious junk. The kind of thing you keep meaning to throw away but never do because, I don't know, sentiment, laziness, the vague fear that there's something on it you forgot to back up. Maya remembered it clearly. She'd used it all through college and her first 2 years at her marketing job. Then she'd upgraded to a MacBook in 2015, and the HP had become a digital junk drawer. Old photos, old papers, old music she'd downloaded from questionable websites in 2011. It hadn't been turned on in. She didn't even know. 4 years. 5. It was furniture at this point. Background noise in the shape of a computer. She left it for last. Planned to deal with it on her final day. Maybe wipe it, maybe just chuck it. It wasn't worth anything. She checked eBay out of curiosity. Similar models were selling for $40 to $60, maybe $80 if you were lucky, and lied about the condition. It was a relic, a dinosaur, a paperweight with a keyboard. Final day comes. Maya's dad is downstairs with the U-Haul. Her best friend Jess is helping her carry boxes. Maya walks into the office, and the laptop is gone, just gone. The corner where it sat is empty. The pile of tax documents is slightly disturbed, like someone rifled through them. The sweater is on the floor, but the laptop vanished. Maya's heart does this weird stutter thing. Not because the laptop is valuable. It's not, but because it's hers. It's her stuff, in her home. And someone took it without asking. During the most vulnerable week of her life, while she's packing up the shattered remains of her future, she texts Derek. Simple, straightforward. Hey, do you know where my old HP is? Can't find it in the office. 3 dots. Then, oh yeah, gave it to my nephew. Kid needed a laptop for school and it was just sitting there collecting dust. Figured you didn't want it. Maya stares at her phone. She reads it 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Gave it away. Without asking, her property, her laptop, that she paid for. That had her entire college life on it. Her old photos, her old writing, her everything from 2010 to 2015. Gave it to a teenager she'd met twice. She calls him. He picks up on the second ring, sounding annoyed. Like she's interrupting something important. Probably a video game. Probably a date, who knows. Derek, she says, and her voice is shaking, but she's trying to keep it steady. You can't just give away my things. That laptop had personal stuff on it. It's a 10-year-old brick, Maya. The kid's 14 and his parents can't afford a new one. I was doing a good thing. You weren't using it. I wasn't using my grandmother's ring either, but you didn't pawn that, did you? Silence. Then, that's not the same thing and you know it. It has my photos, Derek, my documents. My entire college thesis is on that hard drive. Then you should have backed it up, he says, and there's this tone in his voice. This dismissiveness. This cruelty that she hadn't heard before. Or maybe she had. Maybe she'd just been making excuses for it for years. Look, it's done. The kid has it. I'm not taking it back from a 14-year-old. Be reasonable. Be reasonable, she repeats. You gave away my property without asking during the most stressful week of my life, and you want me to be reasonable. You're always so dramatic, he sighs. This is exactly why I needed space. Everything's a crisis with you. Click. He hangs up just like that, 5 years, and he hangs up on her like she's a telemarketer. Maya stands in that empty office and she feels small, invisible, like she never mattered at all. And then she feels something else, something hot and sharp and focused. Anger, real anger, the kind that doesn't burn out, the kind that settles in your bones and makes plans. She calls her brother. Her brother Marcus is a lawyer, not a flashy TV lawyer, a real one. Contracts mostly, boring stuff, but he knows enough to be dangerous. Tell me everything, he says, and she does. Marcus is quiet for a long time, then he says, legally, he committed conversion. That's when someone intentionally interferes with your personal property. It's a civil tort. You can sue for the value of the item or the damages caused by its loss. It's worth like $50, Marcus. Then you sue for $50 and court costs, and you make his life annoying for 6 months. Or he pauses. Or you think about what's actually on that laptop. What's it really worth to you? Not market value, personal value, emotional value, the time and effort to replace those files, the violation of privacy. You could demand compensation for all of that in a settlement letter. See if he'll pay to make it go away. Maya thinks about it. She thinks about the photos. Her dog who died in 2016. Her college friends scattered across the country. Her thesis. Her first short story. Her old journals. Her entire digital adolescence. She drafts an email, not to Derek's brother, actually. Because Derek mentioned the nephew. The brother. The one who'd been encouraging Derek to play the long game. The one who lived 3 blocks away and had probably been over to the apartment while she was at work, helping Derek process his feelings. She had his email from a group trip they'd taken in 2020. She keeps everything. Old receipts, old emails, old grudges. Some habits serve you well. The email is simple, professional, cold as ice. Dear Brian, I understand that Derek gave you my HP Pavilion laptop, serial number blah blah blah, without my knowledge or consent. This laptop contains personal and irreplaceable files. I am requesting its immediate return. If it has been altered, damaged, or accessed without authorization, I will be seeking compensation for the full value of the property and damages, estimated at $20,000. I'm happy to resolve this without legal action, but I need the laptop returned by Friday. Sincerely, Maya. She CC's Derek and Marcus, just so everyone knows she's not playing. She hits send at 11:47 p.m. because drama doesn't sleep, and neither does heartbreak. The response comes at 6:15 the next morning, not from Brian, from Derek, a wall of text, all caps in places, calling her unhinged, calling her vindictive, saying she's trying to ruin his relationship with his family over a piece of junk, saying $20,000 is insane, saying she's embarrassing herself, saying everyone always warned him she was crazy, but he defended her, saying she's exactly the kind of person who would financially ruin a teenager over garbage. She reads it twice. Then she forwards it to Marcus with one word. Options, Marcus calls her. He's scared, he sounds angry. Angry is scared with a mask on. 20,000 hit a nerve. Why? It's a $50 laptop. Even with emotional damages, that's a big number. Why is he so upset? I don't know, Maya admits. I picked it because it sounded serious. Because it would make him think, because, I don't know, Marcus, it felt right. Trust your gut, he says. Something's off, don't back down. But here's where the internet gets involved. Because Brian, Derek's brother, Brian has a Facebook account, and Brian has friends, and Brian decides to post about this. He doesn't post the email, not exactly. He posts a screenshot with Maya's name blacked out, poorly. You can still see the M and the last 3 letters if you squint. And he writes this whole sob story about how his brother's crazy ex is trying to sue his 14-year-old son for 20 grand over a broken laptop from the Obama administration. He talks about how they're a struggling family, how the kid just needed something for school, how this is rich people nonsense and revenge culture. The post goes viral in their local community group. Then it gets shared to a AITA Facebook page. Then someone screenshots it and puts it on Twitter. Then Reddit. Within 48 hours, Maya's phone is blowing up. Old friends, old coworkers, people she hasn't spoken to in years. Is this you? Did you really do this? 20,000 for a laptop. The comments are brutal. What a psycho. Imagine being this petty. She's clearly not over him and wants to ruin his life. 20 grand. For a 2012 laptop. Lady needs therapy, not a lawsuit. The poor kid. I hope he keeps it just to spite her. This is why men are scared to leave relationships. They'll destroy you. Maya reads them at 2 in the morning, huddled under a blanket at her parents' house, feeling like she's been punched in the stomach by the entire internet. She hasn't eaten in a day. She can't sleep. Every notification is another stranger telling her she's garbage. Another person who doesn't know her, doesn't know the 5 years, doesn't know the cold shrug, doesn't know anything, but feels perfectly comfortable destroying her. She calls in sick to work. She deletes her Facebook. She considers changing her number. She considers just disappearing, sending Derek an apology, dropping the whole thing, letting him win. Because that's what this is, right? A game. And he's winning. He's got the court of public opinion in his pocket. He's got the family. He's got the narrative. Crazy ex tries to bankrupt teenager over trash. That's the headline. That's the story. That's her now. But then something happens. Something small. Something that shouldn't matter but does. She's lying in her childhood bedroom, staring at the ceiling when her phone buzzes. Unknown number. She almost ignores it, almost throws the phone across the room. But something makes her look. The text says, "Hey, I don't know if you remember me. We met at Derek's birthday in 2022. I'm Brian's ex-wife, Lisa. I heard about what's happening. Can we talk off the record?" Maya stares at the screen for 5 minutes. Her thumb hovers, her heart pounds. She doesn't know why, but she texts back. Okay. They meet at a coffee shop. Neutral ground. Lisa looks tired, older than Maya remembers. She has a toddler on her hip and bags under her eyes that tell a story of their own. "I shouldn't be here," Lisa says immediately. "But I saw what Brian posted, and I saw your name, or most of it, and I remembered you. You seemed nice. You don't seem like this." "I'm not," Maya says, and her voice cracks. "I just want my laptop back. It has my stuff on it. Photos of my dead dog, my college work, things that can't be replaced." Lisa stirs her coffee. She doesn't look up. "Brian's good with computers. You know that, right? Like, really good. He builds them, fixes them. He used to mine crypto back in the day." In 2011, 2012, when it was just a weird internet thing. He has whole hard drives from that era. Maya blinks. "Okay," Lisa finally looks up. "Derek knows that. Derek has always known that. They talk about it at every family dinner. How Brian was ahead of his time. How he mined Bitcoin when it was worth pennies. How he still has old wallets on old drives that he can't access because he forgot passwords or the drives corrupted." Maya feels something cold in her chest. A seed of ice. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying," Lisa looks around, lowers her voice. "I'm saying that when Derek gave that laptop to Brian, it wasn't charity. Brian didn't give it to his son. The kid got a Chromebook from his school 2 days later. Brand new, district program. Derek knew that. Everyone knew that. The ice spreads. Lisa, I'm saying that laptop is sitting in Brian's workshop right now. Has been since the day Derek gave it away. And I'm saying Brian has been trying to crack the password ever since. Because Derek told him something was on it. Something valuable. He didn't know what, but he knew it was worth more than $50. Way more." Maya's hands are shaking. "How do you know this?" Lisa laughs, but it's not happy. It's bitter, broken. "Because Brian still tells me things. Because he thinks I'm too stupid to understand what he's saying. Because he bragged about it. Derek's ex has a crypto wallet from the old days, and she doesn't even know what she has. We're gonna be rich. That's what he told me. Last week. While he was drunk. While he was feeling powerful." Maya can't breathe. She literally cannot get air into her lungs. Crypto wallet. Old days. 2011. 2012. She remembers now, vaguely, a conversation in a dorm room, a friend who was into internet money. He'd helped her set something up, just for fun, just to see. She'd put $20 in, maybe 40, bought some Bitcoin when it was worth, what, $1? Less. She'd forgotten about it. Literally forgotten. It was a joke, a story she told at parties. Yeah, I technically own Bitcoin. From before it was cool. No idea where it is though. Probably lost forever. But it wasn't lost. It was on the laptop. The old HP. The one she'd kept because she was lazy. Because she was sentimental. Because she never threw anything away. And Derek knew. Somehow, Derek knew. Lisa reaches across the table, touches Maya's hand. I'm sorry, I really am. I know what it's like to have them turn on you. To make you feel crazy. To make the whole world think you're the villain. But you're not. You're not crazy, Maya. You never were. Maya drives home in a daze. She doesn't remember the drive. She sits in her parents' driveway for an hour just breathing, processing the smear campaign, the crazy ex narrative, the $20,000 that everyone laughed at. It was never about the money. It was never about the laptop. It was about what was inside. What Derek thought he could steal while she was too heartbroken to notice. She calls Marcus. It's 9:30 at night, but he answers on the first ring. I need a forensic computer specialist, she says, and a very good lawyer. Not you. Someone who does criminal law, theft, fraud, conspiracy. Maya, what happened? And she tells him everything, the Bitcoin, the wallet, the brother, the setup, the whole thing. A plan, a conspiracy between brothers, to steal from her while she was down, while she was packing her life into boxes, while she was crying in the shower. They weren't just moving on, they were looting the corpse of the relationship. Marcus is quiet for a long time. Then, how much are we talking about? Ballpark. Maya does the math. $20 in 2011, at roughly $1 per Bitcoin. That's about 20 Bitcoin. 20 Bitcoin at today's prices, even at the low end, even with the market down. Millions, she whispers. We're talking about millions, Marcus, potentially, if the wallet is intact, if the coins are still there, if they haven't moved them yet. Millions, he repeats, and you demanded 20,000. I didn't know, I was guessing, I was angry. I was trying to hurt him the way he hurt me, and I accidentally lowballed myself by a factor of 100. Okay, Marcus says, and she can hear him shifting into lawyer mode. The serious voice, the careful words. Here's what we're going to do. You're going to screenshot everything. Every text, every email, every Facebook post, every comment. You're going to document the timeline. When you noticed it missing. When he admitted giving it away. When the smear campaign started, all of it. And then, we're going to the police. And then, we're going to a very good civil attorney. And Maya, yeah, don't tell anyone, not your parents, not Jess. No one. Until we know what we're dealing with. If they know you know, they might move the coins, wipe the drive, destroy the evidence. Right now, they think you're just a crazy ex throwing a tantrum. Let them keep thinking that. So she does. She becomes an actress. She posts a vague apology on her private Instagram. Something about going through a hard time and not handling things well. She lets Derek's sister message her with condescending advice about moving on and not letting bitterness consume you. She agrees. She plays the part, the broken girl. The crazy ex who realized she went too far, who's backing down, who's embarrassed. Meanwhile, Marcus is working. He finds a forensic specialist in Dallas, a guy named Dr. Chen who used to work for the FBI Cyber Crimes Unit. Retired now. Consults. Expensive, but worth it. They draft a preservation letter. Sent to Brian, to Derek, to Brian's internet provider, to the cloud services they might be using. Legal notices that say, we know what you have. And if you destroy it, that's obstruction. That's spoliation. That's jail time. But they don't send it yet, because Marcus has a better idea. A much better idea. Let them crack it, he says. What? Let them crack the password. Let them access the wallet. Because right now, the coins are still yours. They haven't stolen them yet. They've just tried to. But the moment they move them, the moment they transfer even one Satoshi to an exchange or a new wallet, that's wire fraud. That's federal. That's not a civil suit, Maya. That's prison. Maya understands. She hates it. Every day that laptop sits in Brian's workshop is a day they might succeed. Every day they might figure out her old password, her dog's name plus her birthday. Something stupid. Something she'd used for everything back then. But she waits, because Marcus is right, and because she's learning patience. The hard way, 2 weeks pass. The Facebook post dies down, the comments stop. Derek texts her once. Glad you're being reasonable, hope you find peace. She doesn't respond. She saves the text. She screenshots it. She adds it to the folder labeled evidence on her desktop. Then, the notification, not from Derek, not from Brian, from an old app on her phone. An app she hasn't opened in 6 years. A crypto price tracker she'd downloaded in 2018 during the first big boom, when everyone was talking about Bitcoin, and she remembered her old coins and wondered. Just wondered. The app pings. Wallet activity detected. Her heart stops. She opens it. There's a wallet address, her wallet address. She recognizes it from the old paper she'd kept in a shoebox. The one with the string of letters and numbers she'd written down in college and forgotten about. The app shows one transaction. Pending, unconfirmed. Someone just tried to move funds. Someone just tried to access her wallet. From an IP address registered to, she checks the lookup, Brian's home address. She calls Marcus. It's 3 a.m. He answers groggy but alert when he hears her voice. They did it, she says. They tried to move it. It's on the blockchain. It's public. It's forever. They tried to steal millions and they put it on the internet where anyone can see. Marcus is fully awake now. Screenshot it, record it, everything. I'm calling Dr. Chen. And I'm calling a friend at the FBI field office. This just became federal, Maya. This just became real. The next 48 hours are a blur of lawyers and agents and statements and affidavits. The FBI Cyber Crimes Division takes it seriously. Because it's not just theft. It's interstate wire fraud. It's conspiracy. It's 2 brothers coordinating to steal digital assets worth. They do the math. At current prices, even after the recent dip, approximately $1.2 million. $1.2 million. From a $20 investment she made as a joke in a dorm room 15 years ago. They serve the warrants simultaneously. Derek at his new apartment, Brian at his house. The nephew is at school, thank God. The kid doesn't need to see his dad in handcuffs. They find the laptop. Of course they do. It's in Brian's workshop. Plugged in. Running password-cracking software that's been working for 3 weeks straight. They find notes. Written notes. Derek's handwriting. Password guesses. Things he remembered about her. Her birthday. Her mom's maiden name. The name of her childhood cat. Everything he'd ever pretended to care about. Weaponized. They find emails between the brothers, planning it. She won't notice. She's too emotional, too distracted. She doesn't even know what's on it. How long to crack? Depends on the password. Could be days, could be months. But once we're in, we move it immediately. She'll never know. What if she finds out? She's crazy, remember. Who's gonna believe her? The FBI agent in charge, a woman named Special Agent Ruiz, reads Maya the emails in a conference room that smells like stale coffee and printer ink. And Maya sits there, and she doesn't cry. She thought she would. She thought she'd break down. But she doesn't. She just feels. empty, then full, then powerful, like she's finally seeing clearly for the first time in years. "They really thought I was stupid," she says. Agent Ruiz closes the folder. "They thought you were vulnerable. That's different. Predators don't target stupid. They target people who are hurting, people who are distracted, people who won't fight back because they're too busy trying to survive." Maya nods. She thinks about the U-Haul, the cold Chinese food, the nights she cried herself to sleep in her parents' guest room while strangers on the internet called her names. She thinks about how close she came to giving up, to apologizing, to letting them win. "What's next?" she asks. "Grand jury, indictments, then, we'll see. They'll probably take a plea. First-time offenders. White collar. They might do real time, might not. But the civil suit, that's yours. And with the criminal conviction, you'll win. You'll get the coins back, plus damages, plus legal fees, plus whatever else your attorney can think of." Maya hires the attorney, a shark named Goldberg, who costs $600 an hour and is worth every penny. They file the civil suit 2 days after the criminal indictments come down. They don't ask for $20,000. They ask for the return of the property, the coins, plus $500,000 in damages for the intentional infliction of emotional distress, for the smear campaign, for the deliberate, calculated cruelty of making her question her own sanity while they tried to rob her. The story breaks in the local news. Local brothers indicted in cryptocurrency theft scheme targeting ex-fiancé. The same Facebook group that dragged her posts, a very different kind of thread now. "Wait, she was right? Oh my God, they were trying to steal from her. I commented on that post. I called her crazy. I feel sick. We all owe her an apology. Those brothers are scum." Brian's wife leaves him, takes the kids. Derek loses his job. His new girlfriend, the one he'd probably been talking to while they were still engaged, dumps him when she realizes she's dating a felon. The family that launched the smear campaign goes quiet. Very quiet. Maya gets a few half-hearted, "we didn't know" messages from Derek's mom. She doesn't respond. She blocks the number. The plea deal comes 6 months later. Derek gets 3 years. Brian gets 5. The judge is not sympathetic. "You didn't just steal," she says at sentencing. "You tried to destroy someone's reputation to cover it up. You weaponized the internet against a woman who trusted you. That requires a special kind of malice." The civil suit settles out of court. Derek and Brian's family pays. They mortgage houses. They drain retirement accounts. They pay every penny of the $500,000 plus legal fees because Goldberg is very good at his job, and because the evidence is overwhelming, and because they know they lost. They know they got caught. They know the whole world knows what they are. And the Bitcoin, the wallet, it stays with Maya. She moves it to a new hardware wallet, a secure one. She writes down the seed phrase and puts it in a safety deposit box. She doesn't sell. Not yet. She's not desperate anymore. She can wait. She can afford to wait. She uses some of the settlement to buy a house. A small one. With a garden. She adopts a dog. A rescue. Scruffy and ridiculous, and completely unlike the dog she lost in 2016, but perfect in every way. She starts a business. Marketing consulting. Works from home. Sets her own hours. Answers to no one. She posts one thing to Reddit, the real post. The whole story, not on AITA, on a different sub. One about justice, about karma, about surviving. It goes viral. But this time, the comments are different. "You're a legend. I remember the original Facebook post. I commented against you. I'm so sorry. This is why we don't judge until we know the whole story. You deserve every good thing coming to you." She doesn't reply to most of them, but she does reply to one. A young woman who says she's going through something similar. Her ex is making her feel crazy. Her friends are taking his side. She doesn't know what's real anymore. Maya types back, "Trust yourself. You know what's true. You know who you are. Don't let them rewrite your story. And whatever you do, don't apologize for protecting yourself. Not ever." She closes the laptop. Her new laptop. A sleek thing that doesn't weigh 12 pounds and doesn't have a cracked screen. She looks out the window at her garden. At her dog snoring on the couch. At the life she built from the ashes of the one they tried to burn down. And she thinks about the moral of this whole twisted bedtime story. Because every good story needs one, right? Every Reddit tale that keeps you up at 3 in the morning clicking next needs to leave you with something. Here's what Maya learned. Here's what I want you to take with you tonight. People will call you crazy when you stand up for yourself. They'll call you petty, dramatic, unhinged. They'll do it because it's easier than admitting you might be right. They'll do it because your pain makes them uncomfortable. They'll do it because, and this is the big one, because the people who hurt you need you to be the villain. It's the only way their story makes sense. The only way they can sleep at night. But here's the thing they don't tell you. The plot twist nobody sees coming. Your anger, your refusal to back down, your unreasonable demand for justice. That's not crazy. That's survival. That's clarity. That's the moment you stop playing the role they wrote for you and start writing your own. Derek and Brian thought they were the main characters. The clever brothers pulling off the perfect heist. The guys who saw an opportunity and took it. But they weren't the main characters. They were the cautionary tale, the villains in a story about a woman who almost let them win, and then didn't. So if you're out there right now, if you're reading this at 2 in the morning with your heart pounding, because someone made you feel small, because someone took something from you and told you it wasn't valuable, because someone launched a whole campaign to make the world think you're the problem, listen to me. Check your old laptops. Check your instincts. Check the people who call you crazy when you ask for what's yours. Because sometimes, the thing they told you was worthless. It's worth millions. And sometimes, the person they told you was unhinged is the only one telling the truth. Trust your gut. Document everything. And never, ever, let them make you apologize for fighting back. Because in the end, the best revenge isn't the lawsuit. It isn't the settlement. It isn't even the Bitcoin. It's the peace you find when you realize you were right all along. When you look around at the life you built without them. When you understand that their cruelty was never about you. It was about them, their greed, their insecurity, their inability to see your value, which, as it turns out, was always worth way more than $20,000. Sleep tight, friends, and maybe, just maybe, go check that old junk drawer. You never know what treasures you've been sleeping on. Good night.